Okay, so now let's continue our discussion about extracting the data from this report. And so far we have extracted S3 headings, H2 headings, paragraphs, and we also extracted images. And then what we are left with is some of the quotes data which we have, and I'll just go and see what are the uh, quotation tags that we are using. Okay, so there are a few, and they are in this class WP blog quote, and they are under this paragraph tag. So if we have to extract these, then we can simply not use just a tag. Okay, we can use this tag called block quote probably. Okay, let's just do that, and then extract text, because looks like most of them are following the same structure. Okay, yeah, so we have p inside this, so ideally this text should come. So I'll just say block quote while trying to find. So we'll use the same structure as we used for extracting headings, and let's see, instead of this I'll say block quote, and then we say block quotes, and let's see if we found something in this. Okay, so I see. Okay, so looks like we did find few things, and if we have to extract the individual text by cleaning this up, we can simply call text. Okay, now we are getting something like this. Okay, so we are now able to find all the basic ingredients from the report, or the uh, tags that are mostly used. Few things which we are still left uh, are mostly related to the unordered list, and I see that they are used on the top of the report, and then they are also used at the bottom of report, where they have posed some 80 something questions to Adani group, but we'll come to that in a moment. First thing that I want to do now is to find a way in which we can associate all the subheadings with the headings and the paragraphs. So that is going to be our one of our goals in this tutorial. Sorry, okay, so to do that, first I'll find, so okay, so here's the thing which I'm going to do for that. So first I'll find one individual heading, let's say the H2 heading, and then okay, let's say I want to find all the paragraphs in H3 headings, because okay, I found H2. So let's see, let's just go through the idea which we have for getting all the H3 headings and associate them to H2 heading. So all the H3 headings that are coming immediately after this H2 are belong to this particular one until we find the next H2 heading. So that means any H3 heading which is occurring between two consecutive H2 will belong to the previous one. So the way we can do it in Beautiful Soup is by getting all the siblings of this H2 heading. So it will actually include all the all the S3 headings from this point till the end, and then we'll remove those S3 headings that are also sibling of next H2 heading. So in that way we will be able to find all the S3 headings that belong to the first one. So let's put that idea into the practice. And we know that we have already obtained this H2 headings. Okay, so here we got a bunch of them. So let's say we want to figure out what all are the subheadings, that is H3 headings, that correspond to the first H2 heading, like the first main heading. H2 heading you can call it main heading. So in order to find that, I'll say next siblings, and here I'll just say H3. So all next siblings which have okay, so let's try to find it on the first one. Okay, so it will not give me it directly, so what I have to do is to filter H3 subheadings from the the list of next siblings. Okay, so to do that, let's say all H3 siblings for H2 1. So or let's say H2 0. So that means for the first H2 heading, what are all the H3 siblings? And to do that, I'll simply put a filter. So I'll say H for H in this if H dot name equals H3. So this is a construct which we can use to find all this one. Okay, now here we have all the S3, this thing. I see. Now what we can do similarly is we can find this one, all the H3 siblings for H2 1. We are going to get it for H2 1, and here I'll put 1 like this. Okay, so now if we look these two closely, so let's say here. Okay, because the content is organized sequentially, so everything that is sibling of H21 is also sibling of H20. So as we discussed earlier, so if we want to find only siblings, only headings that belong to H20, then we should exclude anything that is part of the next main headings sibling. Because this structure though looks hierarchical, but in HTML, that's you can say is one of the difference between HTML and XML, that is actually organized sequentially. So just to give an example, so in HTML we say H2 and then H2, here we are closing H2, and anything that is coming in the inside H3 H2 will be a sort of subheading. So we can have something like H3 here, and then another H3. I can just for completeness sake put a closing here itself, and then we'll have another H2, and then we can say this is H2, and here we can have one H3. So now this H3 is actually part of the second H2, so like this is in hierarchy, but how it looks like when we are going to get siblings for this one, then it's going to give us all of these things, because this is H2, H3, and this in itself. Okay, so this will be an ideal structure. Sorry, I just okay, so you can just discard whatever I said. So here this structure would be something that is supported in HTML, but in case of in XML, but in case of HTML we just put it like H2. So that means here we have a main heading, and all these headings are subheading for this one, and then we have a heading like H2 heading, which is main heading, and then we have subheadings. Let me call it H3. Okay, so now you see these H3 and this H3 and this H2, all of them fall under same on the same level as this H2. So all of them are actually siblings. So only way we can figure out like which of the H3s are in hierarchy of the first H2 is by excluding all these things from the siblings of the first H2. So that's the idea which I'm going to implement now. If you want to just see that thing, then you can see it from here. So what I'll do, I'll just print these ones, it's all H3 siblings for H2 0, and then let's say I see all H3 for H2 1. So now the first okay, so now the first of these is going to be part of this as well. So I'm doing it for first time. You see it's appearing here also, but I see. So this one, it's okay. So it's appearing here also. So that means anything which is before that is part of first heading, and anything after this is part of second heading. Now, so the way we can figure out, we can extract it from this main H3 sibling is by from these siblings we can do something like that. We can take all of them starting from big name till the like whole of this minus length of the second one. Okay, I'll put this whole thing in a bracket. Okay, so whatever we see here, like all the S3 headings, they should belong to the first main heading, and only three siblings only for H20. So now if I take the first one and call text, and let's take the last one and verify whether we are getting the right thing. Let's get the last one and text. So that means the first main heading should have the first subheading as background and last subheading as while Adani now denies Vinod's involvement. So now let's check it in this. Okay, I'll open it here in a completely new window, and let's see the H2 heading. Okay, so first we'll get the 0th heading, so this is introduction. So now let's see how from where introduction start and where introduction ends. So this is introduction, it starts from here, and first subheading for this is background on Adani group. Let's see if it matches. Okay, so background on Adani group, this is correct. Now let's see where is the last one. Okay, let me just do other way around. Let me search this, and then okay, so while Adani now denies, so this is the last, this should be the last subheading for the introduction. And let's see. Okay, so now you see we have part 1, which is next main heading, and so that means the previous subheading should be the last heading of first main heading, which is introduction. So now you can use this technique to group all the subheadings and associate them with the main heading. So now our list which is generated for the first one, which is also all the siblings only for H20, which is this. should contain siblings or the subheadings for the first one. Okay, we'll clean it and try to do it in more formal way in our next videos. For now, it looks like I have taken quite a lot of time. So thanks a lot.